Now I'm going to get into the nuts and bolts of these 3 ways to double your income in 2025. So number one is brokering. Brokering surplus goods. Okay, brokering surplus goods is the first method. So brokering goods means that I'm going to give you, let's give you a diagram here. Okay, so this is you. All right, this is you. You're the broker. All right, a happy broker. That's you in the middle. And here is a seller. That's the seller of the goods. All right. Now, this seller here has got a load of goods, got a load of pallets and pallets and pallets and pallets of goods that they're sitting on that are just simply unwanted, unused pallets of goods that they want to get rid of. There could be anything like the products I've shown you. Could be anything at all. Across any product category, across any industry, you know, it could be anything at all whatsoever. But this seller here is sitting on a load of goods, all right? And over here is a buyer. Over here is the buyer of the goods. And this is you here in the middle. You are the middleman, the broker, or the bridge. Let's call it the middleman, all right? So brokering surplus goods means that you go find these surplus goods from these manufacturers, importers, distributors, you know, wholesalers, retailers, online retailers. You go find these goods here, okay? When you find these goods, you basically show them to these hungry buyers, all right? Now, what you've got here is you've got a motivated seller. They're motivated to get rid of that stock. They just want to turn that stock into cash and get rid of their problem, get rid of their headache. All right, and over here, you've got a hungry buyer. But here's the thing, guys. This buyer doesn't know about these goods here. Okay, they don't know these goods even exist. Only you know they exist because you found those goods. All right? That seller there doesn't know that buyer either. Only you know that buyer. All right. So you are in control of that deal. You are the broker in control of this deal. You found those goods. All right. And you have found the buyer of those goods. So how this works is, and this is the what, the why, and the how. Okay. First, I'm showing you the what this is, what the, like a bird's eye view of this. So why does this work? It works because I'm showing you the why now. Why this works is because you have found those surplus goods from that seller. Okay, so you are now in control of that deal. And you are simply showing these goods to hungry buyers as the guy in the middle. All the while you are showing these goods to hungry buyers, those goods are still sitting in that seller's warehouse. You're not committing to those goods. You're not saying, oh yeah, I'll buy those and hand over some money and then bring them into a warehouse and then, you know, pay storage fees on those goods. No, all you're doing is basically you are working on that deal. You are putting the wheels in motion on that deal whilst those goods are still sitting in that warehouse with that seller. So you've not committed to that deal. You've not bought that deal. You've not handed any money over on that deal whatsoever. All right. The goods always remain in that warehouse where the goods are located with that seller. So you are basically working on this deal without any risk because you are not gambling your money on those goods. We're now going to move on to the how. How does that deal, like, how is that deal done so you get your money in the bank and your profit in the bank? I'm going to show you. All right. So once you've found the buyer, and obviously you're going to have the question, well, how do I find the buyer, Matt? Well, later on, I'm going to obviously explain in more detail without you even having to find a buyer yourself. All right. So you can do this deal without actually finding the buyer yourself, believe it or not. All right. So imagine this. You've got the seller, you got the buyer, and a deal has been agreed. You know you can get it at X price and you know you can sell it at this price and you're going to take your profit in the middle. But Matt, how do you do that deal without using your own money? Or physically handling those goods or using any storage or warehousing? How do you actually do that? So basically, what you do is you say to the buyer, look, yes, you can buy this deal at a highly discounted price. You're buying these goods cheaper than cheaper than China factory prices. You're buying these for. And so here's the terms of the deal. You pay me up front for that stock, and then you can go and collect those goods from the warehouse where those goods are located. All right, so that's the terms of the deal. The terms of the deal is you pay up front, and then once we've got your money, you send a truck and you go and collect these goods and load them onto your lorry, and off you go. And it's a done deal. So this is how it works. You would invoice the buyer. Okay, you'd invoice the buyer. You get their money. All right. And now you've got their money in your bank. All right, you've got their money in your bank account. It could be euros, dollars, or whatever, or pounds. Once you've got the buyer's money, you are now going to use the buyer's money to pay for these goods here. And then you're going to go pay the seller with the buyer's money. All right, what's left in the bank? Your profit, guys. All right, so these are deals that I do and have been doing for many, many, many years without using a penny of my own money. I never use a penny or cent of my own money to do these deals. I always use the buyer's money. Always use the buyer's money, guys. All right. And I do it all. Never use any of my own cash. I never physically handle those goods myself. All right. And I do it all online with email, WhatsApp, LinkedIn Messenger, text, just all these online forms of communication that we can basically, communicate with the seller and communicate with the buyer and basically put that deal together just on, using WhatsApp. Yeah, send them a quick message. Email. I'll just email them a reply back. Few seconds here, few seconds there. All right, it's all very, very time effective. I'm not having to go out and physically see those goods. I'm not having to go out and physically handle those goods. I'm not having to go and bring them into a warehouse or anything like that. The whole deal is all done while those goods are always sitting with the seller in their warehouse. Until that deal is done and we've got the buyer's money, all right? And once we've got the buyer's money, we just send the seller their money that they've invoiced us for the products. And then we just do the transaction online with a bank transfer. And then we're left with our profit in the bank. I'm going to show you a bit later some screenshots of of the money that I've had into my bank since October the 1st. So I'm going to show you the last 3 months of this year, all the payments that I've had received into my bank.